Hi, good morning, everybody. That's just another quick little rant, and it's uh, two things. The first is that the way we are dealing with Iran is just ass backwards. That they're going to go ahead, regardless. Um, they're going to go ahead and pursue their nuclear program. They have every right in the world to. Um, Israel hasn't signed the non-proliferation treaty, and they've got enough bombs to wipe everybody in the Middle East out, including New York, and don't think they wouldn't take New York out if they thought we were a threat. That we won't even get into how we're the the Congress is a subsidiary of the KINESIT. But let's set the Jewish lobby aside. What is important is the amount of money that we waste every year on the high price of oil. Now, if we were to reduce, not even reduce, eliminate all sanctions against Iran, that's an act of war. A sanction is an act of war. We have been at war with Iran for years and years because we imposed these sanctions. And sanctions, as I said, that's an act of war. Okay. Now we have tried to bait Iran into doing something uh, that would that would lead us and give us an excuse for the stupid Congress to authorize some Patriot Act facsimile and give the president carte blanche to go and bomb the shit out of them without a declaration of war. That's what we did in Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. That's what we've done with the Patriot Act, with the National Defense Authorization Act. We've made ourselves into a criminal state. But aside from that, let's look at the economics. We spend hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year importing oil. Now this morning, the price of oil was, I think, around 97. Uh, I should look at it, but it'll pop up in a second, and I can tell you. Uh, West Texas crude 93.50. All right, you want to see West Texas crude at $65? Lift all sanctions off of Iran. Let them pump as much oil into the system as they possibly can. They need the money, and it would blow the market apart because temporarily we now can produce more oil than the world uses. So, with that in mind, let them flood the market. Now, with that extra money, the tens of billions of dollars we save, say, say the average price in Vineland of regular is $3.33. Well, we're so used to paying that nobody is bothered by it much anymore. Sure, it takes money, it takes food off your table, but not in that respect. We're used to seeing 333 oil. But the tax on oil hasn't changed in years and years. So why not, with if we can force $65 oil, why not take that difference, which would come down to maybe $2.60 in gas? Why not add 30 cents tax to that? 30 cents a gallon, and we'd still be paying less, more than 10% less than we're paying now for gas, and put that into infrastructure. Create tens of thousands, perhaps millions of jobs. And every dollar we put into that job market recycles itself. It pays people's mortgages. It pays for washing machines. It pays for new cars. It pays for people to build the new cars. It pays for people to import the damn washing machines. But it creates, recycles money so that the government would cover their expense for the infrastructure by upping the tax on gas. And it would still encourage people to buy less and less gas guzzling automobiles and trucks and everything else. So we're absolutely, because of the Jewish lobby, we are paying hundreds of billions of dollars extra a year to import oil. It's ridiculous. And this sanction is not a thing that the Congress would have to act on. The president could do it with a stroke of his pen. We could take thousands and thousands of troops, thousands and thousands of Navy personnel, and move half of our naval force out of uh, the Persian Gulf. We wouldn't have to worry about the Straits of Hormuz being closed off. Let the Chinese worry about if it's going through the Straits of Hormuz and the Straits of Malacca. Well, let them worry about piracy and those things. They're building a navy. Let their navy take care of protecting. Why should we protect the passageway so that the Chinese can get fuel? Doesn't make sense. The Chinese, let them spend our money, build ships, and protect the stuff themselves. There's so much crap going on, and then we'll leave that issue totally aside. The next one, well, you know my 50-cent thing, that we could save a couple $1 billion a year. I know every time a congressman, they say, well, this could save 20 billion. They say, oh, that's just a drop in the bucket. No, every bucket gets filled with drops, and every drop you take out either makes space for one more drop or lowers the level of the fluid in the bucket. So if we can save $2 billion a year by switching over to using a coin the same size as a 50-cent piece, which the government is has more or less through their actions taken out of circulation, then why not make the 50-cent piece the dollar? So you don't mix it up with the same size as a quarter or something like that. And you don't mind carrying it in your pocket. And that 50-cent piece might last 30 years, whereas a dollar will last a couple of years. That's why it would save us $2 billion a year. So there's little bitty things, a drop here, a drop there. Now, there's one other little issue. And this is something that I'm not sure. It's sort of a conundrum because I think that these people that demonstrate huge amounts of silver and gold, I don't know that they're helping uh, the situation out. And what do I mean by the situation? And I mean this: that the more, I went got some light there all of a sudden. What happened? Uh, that I think the more people tend to show how much they have, and everybody wants to see a bigger, bigger, and bigger stack, I think it sort of discourages some people thinking, oh crap, look at that. These guys must have phenomenal jobs, and we could never do that. But the people that I love are the people that come on and say, my son has got 6 ounces. My daughter's got 12 ounces. I've got 30 ounces, and I'm trying to buy another ounce a month. That's what we have to encourage. We have to encourage the little guy because we get millions of little guys. It's going to the big guys, even though this golden pharaoh is unbelievable. I mean, he buys 10, 20 ounces of gold at a shot, and there are that's almost the 1/10 of 1% guys. I don't even know. I have no idea what this gentleman does. He's a real nice guy, very pleasant, very pleasant to communicate with. Has a good sense of humor, but him and the guy from Vermont and the dot com guy uh, uh, display huge amounts of bullion, and I think that that it might discourage some people as opposed to encouraging them. And what I really like to see, and what's good for us as hoarders, if that's what you want to term it, I'm just setting my small amount aside for retirement because you can't make any. My money's not making any money any other place. I think we should do the most we can to encourage these kids, and so many kids, and so many Canadians. I can't believe you Canadians must be doing pretty good up there because I get a couple of new subscribers a day from Canada, and I really appreciate it. Uh, but I think that we've got to encourage the little guy to set a little aside, and we can do that and get millions of little guys set a little aside. It all takes silver out out of the marketplace, and that's what we want to do. We want to shorten the supply because there's hardly any above ground silver, and there's hardly any left below ground. And the more silver that we can take out of the marketplace, whether it's 2 ounces at a time or whatever, the better off we are. But I say it's sort of a conundrum. Everybody likes to see big displays of silver or gold. Uh, it's like the end of the rainbow sort of thing. But I don't know if it's really helping the little guy. And that's why last year I gave away $4,000 worth of silver, and most of that went to people that would just, I would just see a video and they'd say, well, what I wouldn't do for an eagle, I've never had an eagle. And unbeknownst to them, then I'd ask for their address and I'd send them an eagle. But I can't, I can't afford to keep doing that. But the idea is that you encourage him, and then he has an eagle now. Well, yeah, you want to build an eagle's nest, you want two, and then you want kids. So uh, I think that these contest giveaways sort of help. And it was interesting. The last guy won them both, so that only half helped. But he did say that his I think he said his 12-year-old son would appreciate it. So maybe he has one, and so does the son. But I think that's what we have to spend more time on, and less time on these vast displays. I don't know if some of these guys have entered a pissing contest or not. And I was thinking about doing, because I have no inventory, I have no idea, but it would entail so much work for Mark that, and I'm still ambivalent about whether or not it would actually help anybody to go out and purchase silver. But either way, I'm not saying these guys are wrong. I'm not saying these guys are right. I'm saying it's a conundrum. But what we have to all do is convince people that this is the right thing to do. That there is nothing out there that has real value unless you can possess it. So we have property, and I'm talking about landscape. We have property that has real value, and we have certain commodities that have value. But the way the government's going, uh, all these things are going to cost more in the long run. So if we can set a little bit aside today, we're going to be better off later on. Well, I want to thank you for your time, and by all means, please leave a comment. And I like the nasty ones as much as I like the praising ones, but I like them all. So if you don't mind, and you sat through 12 minutes and 23 seconds worth, then please let me know what you think.